Hi, it's Paul O'Donoghue here, and with me today is Alex Chan.
Hi there.
And we wanted to bring you some positive news into your world. The world's gone crazy, Alex.
My inbox has got coronavirus all over it every morning. Everybody's on the bandwagon, Paul. Doom and gloom. They're going, we will wipe our computers down when we service your computers. Our hotel takes COVID-19 seriously. I mean, seriously, these are people I've never even heard of. I wonder if our viewers are just sick of this.
Well, I am for sure. I just wanted to spread some positiveness in the world. I'm sick of all this negative stuff, because when there's a lot of negative press and a lot of negative news, it's easy for us to get into a downward spiral. Would you agree?
No, I do agree. Now, look, to our viewers, I would say we don't want to trivialize what's going on. We know what is going on is serious, and we don't want to be disrespectful to those who are suffering, either because they've got coronavirus or because their business is suffering as a result. We don't mean any disrespect at all. No. But what we do want to project is a message of hope, because there are things we can do about this. Would you agree?
Well, there's a lot of things that are out of our control. Like, we can't control the economy and what's about to happen. Inevitably, we will be going into a recession. I mean, I'm not an economist, but we've got to prepare ourselves for that.
They're all telling us the same thing.
And these are the things out of our control. The coronavirus is out of our control. So what I do know is that we shouldn't stress out about the things that are out of our control. The things that we can remain positive about are our ability to control the things that we can, and putting our attention in a positive way on those sort of things.
I agree. A lot of people say they can't even control their kids. They can barely control their staff. So can we control COVID-19 or the economic impact of it? No, we can. But I agree with you. I second what you say. We can control ourselves as leaders, and the way we navigate our company through what is going to be challenging times. The great thing, as you say, is that we have been through this before, haven't we?
We have been through it before. I've been through it once. SailStar started back in 2004, and the first 4 years we doubled our business every 4 years, and then the global financial crisis hit. And I say this to everyone that knows me. I went from a company down to a lonely. I almost lost everything, and the reason for that is I wasn't ready for it, and it hit me hard. I held on too long, and I didn't have the right planning and strategies to get me out of that in the initial stages. But we did do a lot of research, and in terms of how to prepare in tough times, and new strategies to sell effectively in a recession and tough economic conditions. And we weathered the storm, and we passed that on to our clients at the time. We worked with a lot of clients that came out of the recession a lot stronger than they otherwise would. So hence that story, I'm telling you that because we've got first-hand knowledge of selling in tough conditions, and we want to impart that to anyone that's willing to listen to these video series, to put you in a better place, to give you some certainty, to give you some hope. And Alex, you're a veteran at this. You've been through 2 recessions. You want to share some of your experience?
I went through the 2008 to 2012 GFC, global financial crisis, the same one that you mentioned. But because I'm such an old fella, I remember very well the 1987 recession as well. I lost 4 big corporations in my client list in 1 year.
Okay.
And they made up most of my portfolio. Yeah.
So just circling back to what you said about leadership and being positive, what's your experience in terms of how we respond to a crisis like this?
Yeah, well, look, it's interesting. Can I just go back a little bit? I've been talking to some of my own customers just this week, and they're very concerned about the recent developments, as you might expect, over the news, particularly economically, and the impact that it's having on them. And I've said to them, look, there are different facets to this as to how we might tackle this.
Right, which are?
Look, we can talk about techniques to increase your sales, and there are strategies to do that. And we'll talk about that in future blogs.
Yeah.
Also, leadership. They need to be led. They need to be reassured. And the other thing is strategy. They need to have a strategy. But what I want to talk about in this particular video blog is their mindset and how they're projecting what impact they are having on their team. And that sets them up for good leadership. That's what I want to talk about in this episode.
As leaders, we need to be the rock. We've got to remain positive, and we've got to be that beacon of light, because people are freaking out. Your employees are freaking out, and they're looking for you for good leadership. And, one thing I do know is that great generals aren't born in time of peace. So, as great leaders right now, we're in a scrap, and we've got to be ready for this. And you're going to come out of this as more effective leaders for the future.
I think two key words which a lot of my customers have heard me say quite a lot, and they're not new, but they're certainly pertinent, and they are applicable to this discussion. And those two words are self-awareness. Are our viewers aware of the impact that their mood, that their demeanor, that their words, are they aware of how they are impacting on their team? Are their words, are their moods, are their demeanor having a positive impact? Are they having a negative impact? Because I can promise our viewers this, if their words are having a negative impact, they're going to be looking on the job market.
Well,
yeah, they're going to be thinking
there's
of
not
bailing.
going to be many people employing people
now. It's enough to unsettle them nonetheless. And if there's one thing that we know from past recessions is that people either come out of the other side of a recession crawling like they're crawling out of a desert. A neighbour of ours was saying that last night. And they're gasping for water and they've got nothing left.
Yes.
And then there are others.
That was me last recession.
That was you.
You came crawling out. And then I came out stronger.
There are others that the last recession taught us that there are others who came walking out of the desert. They had some resource. They kept their best resource, and that is not only financially did they have some financial resource, but they kept their core talent as well. And then when they came out of the other side, they were able to storm out rather than just begging for help.
Right. So mindset's such an important thing, and our awareness on how we're being. And leaders get to choose how they're reacting to a crisis. We can choose fear, we can choose being uncertain, we can choose shrinking down and doing nothing and maybe being in denial, or we could, choose to be proactive and growth-minded and strategize and have a plan in place. Because, I know what happens when you don't have an effective plan. It leads to that whole fear and stress. And it leads to a paralysis. I've been through that myself, where you're so freaked out that the best option, you can't do anything. You can't think through things. But when you have a simple, clear plan, it helps you think through that and stay positive. And, right now, I think you need to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D.
You do. And I think that plan A is to try to rally the troops. Let's not try to hide the fact that there's a challenge out there. Let's not try to hide the fact that times are tough. Everybody can see what's going on in the news. Why even try to avoid the subject? Why don't we just front foot that, bring our team together and say, look, we know that we're facing a challenging time. Let's do some brainstorming and get some ideas. And that creates a positive environment to meet a challenge.
Yes, no, that's a very, very sage advice, Alex. It's no different than what we did last night with our team. And there were some fantastic ideas that we didn't come up with, but the team came up with in terms of how we can add more value to our community, our clients, and how we can make an impact out there to be relevant and have a stickier product and service.
Yeah. So, if we're talking about mindset in this particular vlog, and if we're talking about our self-awareness, and we're talking about strategy, how's this for a tip to take away by the end of this video? And that's to get your team together, front foot the whole subject, acknowledge that times are a little bit challenging out there, call for ideas, bring your people together. And then maybe you can work out a plan, not just sit there and panic.
So leaders out there, business owners, it's lonely being in your position. Right now, it's our time to rise. And if we don't rise, the business dies. And it's difficult because it's a lonely place to have that positive energy, to have maybe a sounding board with other people in your tribe, like-minded individuals. So, Alex, perhaps you could maybe explain, like, if you're in that position where you're by yourself and you're lonely and you need a top up, you need some positive energy, you need someone to bounce some ideas off, and you need a community, what can be done about that?
Look, they should join the Sales Star community. This has got membership of people who are leaders, they're business owners just like you. As Paul says, it's lonely running a company by yourself. You're thinking, am I making the right decisions? I need a sense check here. I need a second opinion here from another manager. You can come into our community where you are hanging out with other managers. They've got just the same challenges as you, and you can have a cry on each other's shoulders where your staff can't see you, swap ideas, and get some good advice from other managers who are telling you their take on how they're dealing with things.
Yeah, well, look, we're just going to spark up a conversation in our community. We're going to share videos like this this, future videos to come to make a difference. We're going to share some webinars. It's all complimentary. It's there to help you be strong, be positive. And if we're all positive, we're all in this together. And if we can weather the storm together, if we can stay strong, we're going to come out of this stronger. And that's a promise.
Yeah. Paul, can I just add one more thing? This is not just for our paying customers. This is for anybody. We just want to help.
Yeah. We just want to make a difference, and that's genuine. So anyway, come and join the community, and we'll see you on the next video series.
See you there.